All right, Steelers Nation, let's talk about this one because it has been stirring up a lot of conversation and debate among fans, insiders, and analysts all across the NFL landscape. The story that broke recently has put the Pittsburgh Steelers right in the middle of yet another potential trade rumor, this time connected to a veteran wide receiver who has been one of the most consistent producers in the league for more than a decade, Brandin Cooks. According to reports, and specifically a trade proposal laid out by Bleacher Report's Mo Mouton, the Steelers could potentially land Brandin Cooks from the New Orleans Saints in exchange for a 2026 fifth-round draft pick. Now, on the surface, a fifth-rounder doesn't sound like much to give up. The Steelers have hit on late-round gems before, but most fifth-rounders don't turn into core starters, so flipping one for an established veteran wideout is the kind of aggressive move Omar Khan has shown he's willing to make since he took over the general manager's chair in 2022. But here's the question that all of Steelers Nation needs to wrestle with. Does this move make sense for the Steelers right now? Let's back it up. Pittsburgh enters the 2025 season with a wide receiver room that looks much different from what we've seen in years past. George Pickens, the team's supposed future number one, is gone. That chapter ended in messy fashion, and in his place, the Steelers brought in the big-name talent of DK Metcalf to immediately become the alpha. Behind him, though, there are question marks. Calvin Austin III, who flashed as a speedster and big play threat, has battled injuries but looks healthy now. Roman Wilson, a rookie last year who barely saw the field, is now being groomed for a much bigger role. Steelers fans want more proven depth. They've been asking about it for weeks, especially after Omar Khan brought Gabe Davis in for not one, but two visits this offseason without closing a deal. Davis is still out there as a free agent, and the front office seems content to hold off, maybe waiting for prices to drop or for young guys to emerge. That's where the Brandin Cooks rumor gets interesting. Let's be real here. Cooks has been underrated his entire career. 6 separate 1,000-yard seasons, 80 catches for 916 yards and 11 touchdowns over the last 2 years with the Dallas Cowboys. That's not elite WR1 production anymore, but that is steady, reliable, chain-moving football. And with Aaron Rodgers now under center, having a veteran who knows how to run crisp routes and be in the right spot when the play breaks down is an insurance policy you cannot undervalue. But here's the flip side. Cooks is 31, and this is not the 27-year-old version of Cooks who could burn anyone downfield. He's still fast enough, still crafty, but there's no denying he's lost a step. And let's be honest, the Steelers are not just trying to survive this season, they're trying to build something sustainable while chasing that elusive 7th Lombardi trophy. Trading for a veteran like Cooks feels more like a short-term patch than a long-term solution. And that's why this is such a fascinating debate. Do you give Rodgers another proven weapon now to maximize what could be his final season or two in black and gold? Or do you let Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson develop? Because if they take that next step, suddenly the Steelers might already have what they need in-house. Austin in particular is in a contract year. If he puts together a strong season, the Steelers will have a decision to make about extending him. Wilson, meanwhile, is basically a blank slate. Fans haven't seen what he can do at the NFL level, and the only way to find out is to let him play. Adding Cooks could eat into those opportunities, and if the team already has its future WR2 sitting in Wilson, would trading for Cooks just delay his development? There's also the money factor. Brandin Cooks signed a 2-year deal with the Saints this offseason, and while the Saints are rebuilding and might entertain moving him, they're not exactly in the mood to eat a bunch of his salary just to send him out the door. Reports already indicated that the Raiders balked at that kind of demand when teams called about Jacoby Myers earlier this summer. So for Pittsburgh to land Cooks, Omar Khan might have to get creative with cap space. And we all know he's capable of that, but is this really where you want to use those resources? Now, let's not ignore what Cooks could mean in the locker room. He's been around. He's played with Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott. He knows how to operate in big-time offenses, and Rodgers would no doubt love having that kind of security blanket. DK Metcalf draws double coverage, defenses shade their safeties to take away the deep ball. Imagine Rodgers being able to pivot to Cooks on a 3rd and 7, knowing the veteran will be exactly where he needs to be when the play breaks down. That's the kind of detail that wins playoff games. But then again, this team has bigger issues than wide receiver depth. The offensive line, while improved, still needs to prove it can consistently protect Rodgers. The run game has to step up because nobody wants to see a 41-year-old Rodgers dropping back 40 times per game. And the defense, while still loaded with talent, just lost Derek Harmon to injury and will have to tighten up its penalty issues. Maybe, just maybe, this front office should be focusing elsewhere instead of throwing another dart at wide receiver. So Steelers Nation, here's where I land on this. I don't hate the idea of trading for Brandin Cooks. For a 5th-round pick, it's not highway robbery. He would instantly be the most reliable wideout behind DK Metcalf, and he would bring veteran leadership to a young receiver room. But I also don't think it's necessary. I think Calvin Austin deserves the shot. I think Roman Wilson needs these reps. And I think Aaron Rodgers, with his Hall of Fame brain, can make it work with the guys already here. What do you think, Steelers Nation? Would you pull the trigger on Brandin Cooks for a 5th-round pick? Or would you roll with Austin, Wilson, and the rest of the young core to see what they can become? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. Do you want the proven vet, or are you ready to let the kids grow into their roles? And as always, if you're rocking with Steelers Nation Wire, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe for daily Steelers content, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown, a rumor, or a bold trade proposal like this one. This is going to be a season unlike any other, with Rodgers at the helm, Metcalf stretching defenses, and Tomlin pulling the strings. Whether or not Brandin Cooks joins the mix, one thing is for sure. The Steelers are going to make headlines all year long. So, buckle up, Steelers Nation. This train is moving, and it's not slowing down.